closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles, and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary,
590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS, Uniontown.
Professional services around.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, December 4th, 2025, and you're listening to The Sports Voice. So how's everybody feeling about the Steelers now? Today's word is incompetent, and you'll see how it fits into pretty much everything that we're going to talk about revolving around your Pittsburgh Steelers. Because when you sit back and you ask yourself, why are they where they are? Just remember that word incompetent, because from the top of that organization all the way down to the bottom, that is what is seen week in and week out. I do feel bad for the people that still have hope that somehow this is going to get turned around. Not sure what games you're watching on Sundays or Thursdays or Mondays that make you think there's a possibility that this is going to happen. But even if they do somehow sneak into the playoffs, I'd love to know which team you think they're going to beat, especially since they haven't beaten any in the last 8 years. There is one major thumb that sticks out as the biggest problem on this team, and it's not anything new, at least for me. I know some people are late to the game. They've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. I've been talking about it for the last couple of decades. Actually, not the last couple of decades, but the last decade for sure. And that is the head coach, Mike Tomlin. When you take a look at what happens with this team, a lot of people will say, well, he's the easy target. Yeah, he's the easy target because he is the target. There is no other target there. Everyone cowers to him. Everyone might be afraid of him for all we know, but he runs that organization. He is the owner. He is the GM. He is the head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. He might as well just put a uniform on and go out there on the field and stand at quarterback and turn around and hand the ball off, because he's pretty much all of the issues, problems, and reasons why this team is marred in mediocrity and will be for the foreseeable future. Now, he's not alone. He's the main culprit, but not the only culprit in this. And I feel like I've just exhausted this over the last few weeks. For other shows out there locally, this is new conversation for them, because they've been telling you for the last month how the Steelers are going to turn this around, how they're going to make it into the playoffs, how they're going to win this division. Remember when they had that huge lead in the AFC North and everyone said, oh, they're a shoo-in to win, not because they were good, because the other teams had unfortunate incidents take place, losing quarterbacks, losing 3/4 of their team, whatever it is. Now all of a sudden, It's a deadlock. And the Cincinnati Bengals have welcomed back Joe Burrow. They're still in the mix. They're only a couple of games out. They just got done beating Baltimore. They've already beaten Pittsburgh once this year. I mean, this is not a foregone conclusion. This is not a done deal. We're not even looking at a division right now that's going to be either Pittsburgh's or Baltimore's. You could have a team come from out of nowhere and win it. That's how bad the AFC North has been. And at least, I guess, for Baltimore and Cincinnati, it's because of injuries. If they would have had players healthy, they probably would have been in a better position right now than 6-6. The Steelers could have had their entire roster healthy all year, and this is probably the best case scenario for them, because if you go back and you look at a few games like the New England one, for example, that could have very easily flipped in the other direction. This is a team going nowhere. They're going nowhere this year. They're going nowhere next year. They're going nowhere until they make a coaching change, which isn't going to happen until the coach decides it's time for him to go, which will probably never happen because there's no better guarantee that you've got a job for life than the job that you have right now. They will never fire him, no matter how angry you get. You can boo Renegade, you can yell fire Tomlin to where the CBS cameras and microphones pick you up, but in the end it doesn't matter, because the person that can make that decision doesn't care. He's not listening to you. He doesn't care about you. You still go and you pack Acrisure Stadium every week. There's no reason for him to worry or show any signs of concern. He's raking in money with Mike Tomlin at quarterback, keeping the Steelers right above the mean every single year, which apparently now is all they care about. All you hear about Tomlin when people ask, well, why is he such a good coach? The first thing everyone says, well, he's never had a losing record. Really? That's the bar. We're not talking about success anywhere beyond you've never had a losing record. That's really not all that impressive. That's basically saying that there's a chance every year that you're 9-8, 8-8 when we played 16 games. Are we satisfied with that? Because in recent memory, that's pretty much what the Steelers have been, hovering right around that mean that is so crucial and valuable to the ownership of this franchise. It's not about winning playoff games, winning Super Bowls, getting to the AFC Championship. It's not about any of that anymore. Now it's just, well, he's never had a losing season. But yet, we don't talk about a coaching tree. We don't talk about young players who are developed on this team. We don't talk about veterans coming here through free agency and excelling. We don't hear about this innovative approach to either offense or defense that's coming from this team. There's no hope for the future. There's no momentum that's built. You can look at other teams and say, well, okay, it might not have gone the way we had hoped, but in the future, we've got this and this and this. I'd love to see you rattle off 4 or 5 things the Steelers have for the future beyond what they have right now, which is another trip to mediocrity, because I see nothing on the horizon that tells me this team will be any better next year, the year after that. And you can sit there and say, well, the draft is in Pittsburgh. They're probably going to take a quarterback in the first round. It doesn't matter who they take in the first round. They could take the second coming of John Elway and Dan Marino, and they're not going to let them be who they are. They're going to have them turn around and hand the ball off 30 to 35 times a game, throw 2 and 3 yard passes, and then try to force something when it's third and forever that you're never going to have a good percentage to complete. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Until the system changes, nothing else will change with this team. And just adding on to that, all of a sudden, all of the critics that have come out of the woodwork, not that they've just come out of the woodwork, some people have been critics for quite some time, but, you know, some of the suggestions that are out there, Ben Roethlisberger, I really like Ben Roethlisberger, but I've got some beef with him this week. It's all well and good. I agree with you that it just isn't working anymore with Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Don't pawn him off on Penn State. I don't want to watch that every Saturday. I don't want to see the same garbage that you have to endure on Sunday at Acrisure happening up in Happy Valley. Don't want to see it. It is not a good fit for him. It is just a reiteration of what took place with James Franklin for the last 12 years. And that's an issue in itself. Penn State still doesn't have a head coach. A lot of the people that they've pursued have either said they don't want to come there or they've taken jobs elsewhere. And we've had National Signing Day, which basically was pillaged by James Franklin at Virginia Tech. The recruits are few and far between at Penn State. This should have been thought out. If you're going to make the decision to fire Franklin in the middle of the season, then you better have a clear-cut person that 100% is coming before the beginning of December. Now you've got the transfer portal coming up before the bowl season. You're going to have who knows how many more guys that are currently on the roster that are going to end up elsewhere for next year. You cannot go into the offseason with this sort of uncertainty as Penn State has done, and this could be something. I didn't think the Franklin firing was going to necessarily put them in a horrible place, but if you can't have a coach for the times where you need one, then there's no recovering. They might be one of the worst teams in college football next year if they're not able to retool and bring in players. You haven't even seen who on this roster isn't coming back next year, let alone the lack of really any credible players that came yesterday. In addition to that, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins in action tonight. Yes, that's right. It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. They're actually in Tampa, but it doesn't matter. It's still a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Some changes in the lineup. About time. The thing with the Penguins is, and this is what frustrates me pretty much in all sports, but definitely this. The Penguins get some wins that no one was expecting. And all of a sudden, they turn into last year. They bring veterans up who can't score, Koppanen, Heinen. You're watching these guys get paraded out there game in and game out. And what happens? The Penguins start into a huge losing streak. Well, now they bring McGroarty up. They bring Boko Imama up. It looks a little bit better, so we'll see how they fare against Tampa. It's always nice to see them beat the Flyers, though, so getting that 5-1 win over Philadelphia, but very inconsistent leading up to that point. So hopefully they won't forget the directive at hand. They'll give the younger guys more of an opportunity. You don't want to see those opportunities fall apart because all of a sudden there's this false hope that this team can make the playoffs and be successful there. It's just not the reality. It's fun to watch them win, but let's not forget why they racked up all those wins early in the season. It wasn't because they brought up these curtain jerker veterans who haven't been anything their whole career just to throw them out there. That's what Mike Sullivan did. That's why they were so bad for the last few years. Don't lose sight of the goal at hand. Pittsburgh Penguins. And I haven't got to see much baseball. I don't know if the Pirates almost signed anybody within the last week, but I did see Cody Ponce, who was the Korean League MVP. He was a Pirate not that long ago. He was terrible. But now he's got a pretty decent contract in Major League Baseball again. So yet another player the Pirates couldn't develop. The Pirates and the Steelers are starting to get eerily similar when you start looking at the comparisons between the two. Won't be long. Steelers are mediocre right now. You don't develop any young players, that mediocrity goes away too. They could be a bottom feeder before it's all said and done. But hey, they've got all that big money tied up in that overpriced over-the-hill defense. I'm sure that'll help bail them out. Great job against Buffalo, the most rushing yards at Acrisure Stadium ever, and I believe when you go back to Three Rivers, it was decades since a team, I believe it was Buffalo back in the 70s with O.J. Simpson, was the last team to rush for that many yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Defense, they were calling themselves elite at the beginning of the year. Well, I don't know if I'd use that word, but they are historic. I will say that, and not for any good reason whatsoever. So going off of my monologue that I used to start the show with Mike Tomlin, this is nothing new. If you've listened to me for any length of time, I've harped on this for years. This is not me jumping on any kind of bandwagon. I told you why he was not a good coach in Pittsburgh, why he would never win in Pittsburgh again. And, there was a time where I thought, well, maybe he's pretty decent. Now I'm even questioning that. I don't know what he does that separates him from any other coach in the league. And I'm going to put that in the category of Pittsburgh just overrating things. I think Pittsburgh loves to overrate players. They overrate circumstances. And I think they overrate coaches. I think when you look at Tomlin, Is he an average coach? Maybe. Is he a good coach? I don't think so. When I look at him coming in, he inherited, and I'm not even going to talk about the caliber of players, the Hall of Fame. I'm not even going to go with that. He inherited leaders in a locker room that helped to guide and corral that team. I think there have been talented players there since who have gone unchecked and went off the rails and ended up gone within a matter of a year or two. See George Pickens as the most recent. I think that when you look at the situation at hand, if you want to be considered a good coach, then you have to have control. You have to be able to control a locker room. You have to control a culture. You cannot have players that are unhinged. And I think for the last at least decade, we've seen from Antonio Brown to Le'Veon Bell to Chase Claypool. I mean, just start going down the list to Pickens. Now we're seeing Ramsey. We're seeing players that are just unhinged, uncontrollable. I watched Cam Hayward take a penalty and then whine and cry that he was getting bullied by the opposing team's quarterback. Are you serious? This guy's talking about how he's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and he certainly wanted paid like it, and you're intimidated by the quarterback on the other side? Come on. Remember when the Steelers used to be tough? Remember when that defense used to be feared? Remember when they got nicknames like Mean, like Joe Green? I mean, you don't see any of that anymore. Now they're a bunch of whiny crybabies who are just worried about how much money they make. That is a product of the culture. The culture is a product of the coach. So we know there's no culture there. So the next thing I look at when I think about what makes a good coach, you develop your talent. You draft well, and then you develop them. Each year they get better, and you start to produce Hall of Famers. I don't see any of that. Do you even see an all-pro in the young players that the Steelers have drafted in the last 5 years? Now, in all fairness, half of them are gone, but the ones that remain, has anyone gotten better the second year or the third year? Does anyone look like they're on pace to potentially be a cornerstone for this team? I mean, they paid Pat Freiermuth. He's a non-factor in the offense. They don't even look at him. He might as well just stand around because there's no sense running routes. The ball's never going to go to him anyways. When you look at defense, Joey Porter. This was supposed to be the shutdown cornerback of the future. He basically holds on every play, whether or not they call it, and gets burned down the field when he doesn't. I've seen him digress instead of get better over the last couple of years. You look at the offensive line. Look how much of draft capital has been invested there in the last couple of years. They can't protect anybody. They can't protect a running game. They can't protect a quarterback. You saw the 42-year-old elderly Aaron Rodgers go down face first into the turf and come up all bloodied. If there's any time to protect him, he's wearing a cast on his left wrist because of broken bones, and you're letting the defense just come through at will and put hands on him and throw him to the ground. I mean, I don't see any development of players. So that would be my second thing I would look for to be considered a good coach. I don't think I've seen it at all. And if maybe there's a chance that somebody does start to develop, they can't be controlled, so they're gone. Once again, that was my first category. Next would be free agents. If you're going to go and spend a ton of money on free agents, then they should come in and make an impact. I haven't seen any free agent come in and make an impact on this Pittsburgh Steelers team from when I can remember. Trades are the same way. Look at that great deal they made for Minkah Fitzpatrick. What a great job that was. He had one good half year when they brought him in just to get him to 8-8. So we could still say there's never been a losing season. Trades, free agents, signings, like if you think for a second Omar Khan sits there and says, hey, I want to give TJ Watt $41 million a year. I want to give Cam Hayward this contract laden with incentives because that's a good idea to keep him around. Mike Tomlin controls all of that. He controls the entire front office of this team. So when you start looking at all of the issues, the lack of development, the lack of drafting players that are impactful, the lack of bringing in free agents, the amounts of money tied up that's just wasted on this team, that all points at one place, Mike Tomlin. The next piece I would look at is a coaching tree. Where's the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching tree? Who leaves this team and goes out and gets a job elsewhere? Oh, I can name you a couple, but you got to ask yourself, how did they leave the team? How did Dick LeBeau leave the team? How did Bruce Arians leave the team? How did Ken Wisenhunt leave the team? Did they leave on their own? Because I remember at one point we were told Arians retired, and then he resurfaced the next year as a head coach. These three were fired because they wanted to do their own thing. They did not want to follow the script that, by the way, is 50 years outdated, that is used by this Pittsburgh Steelers team. There's a reason why no young, innovative offensive coordinator comes to Pittsburgh. They don't want to run this system. They're coming because they want to get a job as a head coach. They want to do something innovative. They want to do something new. They want to do something creative, and they're not allowed to do that on this team. Offense, defense. It's been the same for 17 years. Go watch the film. Go watch the film from 10 years ago. You'll think you're watching last Sunday's game. It all looks the same. It hasn't changed. It's as conservative as can be. It's based around the defense making big plays, the quarterback being a game manager. You've got a future Hall of Famer in Aaron Rodgers, first ballot guy who's been turned into a game manager on this team. That's all he does. There is nothing innovative offensively or defensively. You've got a guy that's making $41 million a year. At one time was the highest paid defensive player in football, who only will play one side of the field because he's not comfortable on the other side. Well, I don't know how he's comfortable on the side that he's on. I was watching him taking on one guy, a tackle or a guard, and couldn't get past him. They put the tight end on him and blew him up in a couple of plays with Buffalo. They basically said, all we got to do is just run around the outside. The corners can't tackle, which I've said for weeks, the corners can't tackle. None of them can tackle. They ran the same play, I believe, 23 times and got positive yardage on it every single time. That, to me, is a huge flaw in the coaching, because if you've got defensive coaches out there that can't adjust, then they shouldn't be there. So my guess is probably they can't adjust, but you're not asking them to either, which once again is a black eye on the coaching staff. And I sit and I wonder, everyone says, well, they never make adjustments. They never make adjustments. Is it because Tomlin doesn't want to make adjustments, or because the players aren't capable mentally of figuring out how to do something differently than what they've planned for 5 days in practice? And there are telling signs. I mean, Rodgers is already starting. He alluded at the end of the game, made a comment about how he watches film every day and everyone else is more than welcome to join him every once in a while, which I believe is true, even though Pat Freiermuth said, no, we're all there every day. Yeah, I'll bet everyone's there. Sure looks like Jonnu Smith's there every day. He couldn't figure out a route, and even if he does, he can't catch the ball anyways, and Metcalf's pretty much in the same boat. This team is off the rails, unhinged. They look like they have no clue what to do. There's no cohesion whatsoever, and you can say what you want, but in the end, it all comes down to coaching. Do I think Mike Tomlin was ever a good coach? Honestly, no. At one point I did, but the more I talk about it, I think if he would have come in from the start with nothing and had to build it himself, there would be no resume of a Super Bowl or anything else. He came into a prime situation. He capitalized on it early, and as each year goes by, it gets worse and worse, which goes to tell me there was never an opportunity for him to reload. He doesn't know how to do it, can't develop young players, can't put a modern system in offensively or defensively. So my answer to that right now today is no, he never was.
Well, here's a few things. He is and was. I mean, he's won 8-9 games for a long time, and he's a fine coach. That's point one. He's a fine, decent coach. I think he's a good coach. But that's not the issue. The issue is he the right coach for this organization at this present moment? He is not. I think he's fine. I think he has some good traits. I think you don't win 8-9 games for all these years by accident, but that's not the point. And even the Super Bowl's not the point. That's fine. A lot of coaches can't claim that, so he has that arrow in his quiver. But that's not the point. It doesn't really matter. Is he the right coach at this moment in this day's NFL for an organization like the Steelers that is so tone deaf on offense, that never has really gotten offense right even before he arrived? And really, if it wasn't for Ben, we'd still be talking about the 70s in this town, in this region. So if he ever was a good coach, I think he was, but that's not the question. Is he the right coach at this moment in this present-day NFL for this tone-deaf offensive organization? He is not, and he needs to move on. They're not going to fire him. They don't fire the coach. Daddy didn't. His daddy didn't. They don't view themselves as that organization. They look down on organizations that do that play musical chairs with the coach. This wouldn't be musical chairs with the coach I mean, they haven't fired one since the 60s. So, I mean, they have to swallow their pride and their idea of what their organization is and move on. So 2 points. I think at one time he was fine. He was adequate. But is he fine and adequate for this team right now? No. Could he go to another team and win? Sure. College level, NFL level, great. But is he right for this team at this moment? He is not. So there's my summary.
Let me ask you this question. I actually heard this on another show today, and I was very intrigued by it. So I will share it here. Normally I don't do that, but I will definitely share it here. So you look at the record of Mike Tomlin.
Sure.
And never had a losing season, whatever.
Yeah.
If Mike Tomlin had coached on, say, 3 different teams throughout his career, and you look at that record, and it wasn't just one team, it wasn't just the Steelers, are you still as impressed by it, knowing that he had been fired and hired a couple of different times?
Well, he wasn't. I hate to deal with hypotheticals.
But is the record, is it that impressive?
So you're saying if he had bounced around, it'd be less impressive?
That's what I'm asking. That was the question. I didn't really hear an answer.
Maybe not. I think the Steeler logo has propped him up. I think the perception of what the Steelers are to the local and national media has propped him up. But yeah, that's a hard one to answer. Again, it's a hypothetical, and I think he would win somewhere else, but that's not the point. And I'll go back to what I said. Is he an adequate coach? Sure. Could he win elsewhere? Sure. Did he used to win here? More than he does now. But he's not right for this team at this moment. I mean, if the league was still the league that he wants it to be, where you could win games with field goals and win 13-10 and smash mouth defense, fine. But he has no feel for offense, none at all. And I know that because they had offensive talent on this team. They had Ben, Bell, and Brown in their prime and won nothing. They would routinely lose playoff games to a less talented New England team. I mean, they had the better quarterback and coach, but they didn't have better personnel. And a lot of those games were in Pittsburgh, and they couldn't win them. So that's a hard one to answer the question you asked, but I don't think it matters. What matters is today, is he right for this organization? No, and they should move on. And the team they're playing Sunday, they're not happy with their coach either. So it's not unique to Pittsburgh, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. And this was a marriage, and not everything lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. New England moved off Belichick, for God's sake. So 17 years, it's time.
This one lasts forever. Let me ask you this question then next. This is not something I heard before, but something I was thinking about. We've seen 17 years of this, so we know the track record of player development. And you had mentioned that he kind of rode Ben, who we agree is a first ballot Hall of Famer, very well deserved.
Sure.
If Mike Tomlin is the head coach in 2004, do the Steelers even have Ben Roethlisberger?
Again, another hypothetical, but that I don't think is important for the moment, but probably not. But Cowher didn't want Ben either.
It is important for the moment because you're banking on the fact he's going to pick your next quarterback, and thought he did it with Kenny Pickett. I don't know why anyone thought that.
I think he could leave this offseason. I really do. I think he might. I think
the
this
best
could be
thing.
it.
Honestly, it's the best thing that could happen for this franchise right now because you've had old quarterbacks the last couple of years because you couldn't get the draft right, and now it's maybe more crucial than ever because you've got less talented players on this roster than you ever have. And the ones that get named all the time are well over the hill.
Yeah.
I mean, getting the quarterback right is crucial at this point. You're not going to get one in free agency. But nobody's letting anybody go.
Oh, you said earlier, it's not about getting the quarterback right. You could pick the Elway Marino combo. The system is what matters. I mean, some guys are so good they can overcome bad systems. I don't think Sean McDermott knows anything about offense, but Josh Allen is so freaking talented that he overcomes it. I mean, Cowher didn't win Ben 21 years ago. So, I mean, sometimes you get lucky. You stumble into things. No, I mean, they wouldn't have gotten Ben if Tomlin had his way. And he has way too much power. They're afraid of him in that organization. Khan does nothing. R2 is afraid of him. And I get it. They don't want to fire coaches and look like that, tacky organization. But I think you have to realize that if something's not working, you move off it. And hopefully they move off of it. Or hopefully he realizes he wants to go. I think he's probably tired of it, this job.
Well, I'm sure Sunday put a pretty big hit on his ego.
Sure.
Because, they're yelling his name in the stands. It's not just the booing and all of that. I mean, they're specifically calling for his job. And that's something you don't really get at a Steeler game. I mean, they'll boo, they'll get angry.
Sure.
But the fact that the microphones that CBS had were picking it up.
Sure.
I mean, it was very, very loud. And it was fire Tomlin. I mean, you could hear it. All you had to do was listen to the game. If you were there, I'm sure you know. And I don't think when you look at Tomlin and you say, okay, this guy's an issue. Yes, he is. And I think, on the field, he's the major reason why they are where they are. But off the field, the ownership that's put in place on this team is the real culprit for what's going on. They won't even consider moving off of this, which basically just is sticking it to the fan base who expect more from this logo. Maybe not necessarily the players out there. You start looking, you're like, they're not really, they don't have the caliber. It's kind of like the 80s when Mark Malone was at the helm.
Ugh.
You're just kind of like, it's going to be bad. But you are insulting the logo by allowing this to continue, because what are you getting out of it? Maybe a trip to the playoffs where you get annihilated. I mean, that's really all we've seen in the last 8 years, or you don't make it at all. Like, honestly, not ever having a losing season, that doesn't mean anything to me because it's regular season. And if they do this year, they'll say, well, he's only had one. And, it'll be, he's only had two. Look how many years he's been around. So you're never going to get away from that. It's never going to go away. But in the end, when you look at today's sports where pretty much everybody makes the playoffs, that's not impressive to me. Talk to me about what you do in the playoffs. Don't talk to me about the regular season. I always made fun of the Washington Capitals for years with that President's Trophy. That's pretty much what this is, because if you can't win when it matters, who cares what you do in the regular season?
Right. And I mean, it is about the postseason and winning there, and the regular season's fine, but some organizations are different. If you're Jacksonville, if you're Carolina, if you're Cleveland, regular season wins matter, but this logo is one that I always thought was above that. And for the last 50 years, it was about postseason victories. They're not doing that. So, I mean, trees don't grow to the sky. Everything ends eventually, and this should end. I don't know if it will sooner or later, but, it will eventually. But the problem is, if it doesn't end soon, then you're just you're compounding the issues. And it's like the Pirates. We can have two thoughts. Was Derek Shelton a bad manager? Yes. But the problems run deeper than that. Same with this organization. Is Tomlin the right coach for this organization right now? No. But the issues run deeper than that. There's always more to the story. It's not just about the one guy. It's an organizational issue.
And I'm sure Jacksonville or Cleveland would probably love to have him. In 5 years, they'll want him fired there too, because you're going to be where the Steelers are now. Like there's nothing. I don't see a situation unless he walks in to something that he walked into in Pittsburgh in 2007, where he's going to have any success. And as years went on, and not that many years, and those players disappeared and were replaced by the guys he drafted, it eroded from the inside.
Right.
They had to get rid of people because they were out of control. I mean, they had to. I mean, they found Antonio Brown in the 6th round, but couldn't control him.
No.
Le'Veon Bell was a really good running back for a period of time. Couldn't control him. Like, start going down the list.
Currently, Pickens.
Pickens.
He looks like Jerry Rice in Dallas.
Right. Except last week, but he was hurt.
Yeah, not that they're going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon, but they can control him.
Right. It's all about this. You have to evolve with the years. Nobody's running what the Steelers are running. And when you bring in skill players, they don't want to do this. They want to do what the rest of the league is doing because it features them. Even the running back. I mean, you look at what Warren and Gainwell, they're not doing anything compared to what you see out of some of the guys, that are like a Jonathan Taylor who's getting 200 yards in an offense where they still throw the ball all the time. I mean, it can happen. Look what the Bears did with Swift and Monangai this past week, both over 100, and yet Williams was still throwing the ball around the field. Like, you can't run this archaic offense and think anybody that plays in it's going to be happy. They're not. And just wait until they're eliminated from I can't stand him, but I cannot wait to hear him go off. Aaron Rodgers is just biding his time until they're eliminated from stuff. I can't wait to hear what he's going to say when he finally goes off.
Yeah, and I gained some respect for him. Look, he's famous around the world. He's made all this money. He does not need to be out there in 25-degree weather getting hit by Joey Bosa with blood on his face. If I were him, I'd be on a beach somewhere. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He already won his ring. He's not going to win another one. So I give kudos to that. He likes football way more than I thought he does. He must love the game to still be doing it.
Well, the cameras in the interview, people aren't on the beach if he's sitting there.
That's true.
He loves to be in front of that camera.
That's true. But he must love football to come back and play for this team.
Yeah. He didn't want to.
No, he wanted Minnesota.
Remember how many places?
And I'm sure he realizes that this was a mistake, but I think he liked the prestige.
Minnesota might realize that too.
Oh, they're awful. McCarthy and Brosmer. Well, that's awful. Duck Hodges is like, well, I'm not the worst quarterback in league history anymore.
I think he is.
Well, Yeah, but currently, look, you could say, was he a good coach in 08? Would he have drafted Ben if he were here in 04? That's all well and good, but on December 4th, 2025, is he the right man for this league, on this team, the way the league is constructed? No, so...
No, they've got to figure out a way to start retooling, bringing in some young players, developing them.
And a guy with an offensive mind.
Defensive, too. The defense is getting destroyed because it's all old guys. The young guys, none of them develop.
No, but, look who's winning in this league. Ben Johnson. I mean, Andy Reid for years. That's what's winning in this league.
Yeah. Mike Vrabel. But he lets McDaniels run that offense.
That's what I mean, exactly. And he's a world-class OC. Arthur Smith is not.
Exactly. Arthur Smith will be driving a FedEx truck next year.
Yeah, and Tomlin won't allow anyone smarter than him on the staff. So,
well, they don't want to come. They don't want to run that. It's not that he won't let them because they're smarter than him. He won't let them run their system. And nobody in their right mind is going to come try to run this because they'll never get they want head coaching jobs. They're never going to get one running this crap because nobody else wants to run it. You can't win with it. No. So if he's not going to give you the freedom to do your own thing, that's why they've all passed on coming to Pittsburgh.
It's not the system. If this archaic, boring to watch system was working, fine. I wouldn't love watching it, but if it worked, it worked.
It's like the trap in hockey.
If you won 12 games a year and got to the AFC title game every year with it, fine. But it's boring to watch and it's not working. So Absolutely. Two negatives.
Well, there you go. There's my take on Mike Tomlin. It's not anything new. You've heard it before. Nick, you've heard it before. Like we have not been sitting here talking about what a great job he's done this year. Some people have done that, not us here. So nothing new, but just wanted to rehash it since everybody else who's been pretty late to the party on this has finally decided that they don't care if they have access to Steeler players. They're going to come out and tell the truth finally at some point. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will look ahead. Steelers-Ravens for at least the initial lead of the AFC North. It should be a great one, I'm sure. We will pick the game. Don't go anywhere.
In a world of big corporations and interpersonal experiences, there's something truly special about family-owned businesses. For over 70 years, the Mike Kelly Automotive family has been serving the community with integrity, honesty, and a commitment to putting families first. And we're not stopping anytime soon. Our commitment to excellent sales and service remains stronger than ever. Visit us today and experience the Mike Kelly Automotive difference. Because when you buy from us, you buy from family.
Donald R. Crawford Funeral Home salutes our troops and first responders. Give them the gift of life they deserve by donating blood. This message from Donald R. Crawford Funeral Home at 1189 National Pike in Hopwood and 4222 National Pike in Farmington. Call the Hopwood location at 724-437-1115 and the Farmington location at 724-329-1418. Donald R. Crawford Funeral Home is family owned and operated and serving the area with quality and integrity for decades.
Point Hill Living Care Home is an all-new personal care home conveniently located in Point Marion and is now accepting new residents. Point Hill Living is committed to providing comfort and support while allowing residents to maintain their independence and enhance their quality of life. With a dedicated staff and experienced advanced care team, Point Hill Living offers fully customized care plans for all residents, while also ensuring a sense of community and engagement, making Point Hill feel like home. Multiple care levels are available, from basic plans to fully customized and enhanced plans, including options for medical monitoring and full-time dedicated assistance. If you are looking for a high-quality care home close to home, look no further than Point Hill Living Care Home at 300 Union Street in Point Marion. Call them today at 724-725-5533 to learn more, or visit them at pointhillliving.com. Point Hill Living Care Home, where our residents are family.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, a part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
The holidays are here and so are all the cookies and big family dinners. I don't want to lose the progress I've made this year.
I get it. That's why I went to Montgomery Medical in Smithfield. They've got GLP-1 weight management support to help you stay on track even through the holidays.
Really? I didn't know they did that.
Oh, yeah. Plus, they handle walk-in acute care, family primary care, and all kinds of wellness services. They're like your one-stop medical home.
Sounds perfect. I'm calling Montgomery Medical. Time to make this my healthiest holiday yet.
Montgomery Medical in Smithfield. Family tradition of family medicine.
Ready to score big on your next home? Well, great news. Huge savings are waiting for you at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. From open floor plans perfect for game day parties to energy-efficient homes that will help you save money all season long, these homes are built to deliver. Don't wait on the sidelines. Make the winning play today and find the home that fits your family and lifestyle. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon at 4500 Route 51.
Your local station, WMBS.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. We've been talking Pittsburgh Steelers and the debacle that was the Buffalo game. Totally outplayed. Look at the yardage given up. So you can't even try to hang your hat and say, well, the defense maybe can keep us in this Baltimore game. The defense hasn't really kept them in any game yet this year. They've had some takeaways. I'll give them that. A lot of them are giveaways early in the season, but they've had some takeaways recently. But when the offense is as unproductive as it is, and you know, we use the word archaic, outdated. I mean, that's what it is. It doesn't look like a 2025 NFL offense. Doesn't really matter what your defense is doing. You're still not going to win games. The Steelers made a few roster moves this week. They did waive Darius Slay, the corner who barely saw any action against Buffalo. I don't think, well, it might have been a surprise that they waived him, not the fact that they weren't playing him. He was claimed off waivers by Buffalo, but has failed to report to Buffalo. He said he's mulling his future and considering retirement. The Steelers on waivers this week claimed Adam Thielen, who in probably the biggest must-need game for Minnesota last week was a healthy scratch. So that should tell you where he ranks at this point. He at one point was a really good receiver. Now he's at the end of the road, so he can join a bunch of other guys who are at the end of the road. And all of a sudden people think this is going to be something that's going to help them win. They also bring Asante Samuel onto the active roster permanently. Yet again, another curtain jerker that they found off waivers. See Kyle Duggar for the answer to that. But you thought he was good for a little while till he had to cover somebody. Then he looked like the New England version of Kyle Duggar. Looking at the injury report, DK Metcalf had Veterans Day yesterday. You can only imagine why he needed so much rest. He was a full participant today. Jalen Ramsey, 2 days of Veterans Day, didn't practice today. Patrick Queen was limited at practice with the glute. By the way, that's what we call karma. Patrick Queen with yet another dirty hit, this time on Josh Allen, that they don't call. I mean, he could have stopped probably 3 different times before he made contact with Allen, who was in his slide, and then the next play goes out for the rest of the game. So good for you, Patrick Queen. Nice to see at least one of the dirty guys getting what comes to him. I was hoping Ramsey would get something happening to him before it was over, too. Aaron Rodgers was a full participant. Ben Skoranek, wonder how he got hurt. Shoulder injury, he was limited. Joey Porter with the elbow was limited. Duggar didn't practice today as a hand injury. It must have been probably when he was trying to grip the jersey, maybe a little too tight of the guys that were running past him when he had to cover. I don't even know who Dante Kent is, but he didn't practice. James Pierre was a full participant. He has a concussion. Calvin Anderson didn't practice. TJ Watt, nice to know he was out there fully today with a toe injury. Wish he could be a full participant in a game every once in a while.
Nice.
Most of the time you look, he's on the sidelines. And Derek Harmon, who we know isn't going to play with a knee injury, did not practice today.
Wow,
all right, Nick, here we go. We got the Steelers. We've got the Ravens. Baltimore favored by 6.5. Baltimore at one point had 75% of their defense hurt. Lamar Jackson didn't even practice today.
No.
So that's still up in the air.
Huntley.
And they're favored by 6.5.
That's crazy.
Against the Steelers.
I just have to say, you were reading off all those names, and I was like, oh, they waived Darius Slay. They'll never win the Super Bowl now. But then I heard they signed off waivers Adam Thielen. Now they're back in the Super Bowl
back
bubble.
with Asante Samuel. Jabril Peppers is still there.
See you the second week of February, Steelers. You're making it now.
I'm
6.5.
excited.
Yeah, 6.5's the line. That's a big number. I don't think anyone wants to win this division. I told Dave off the air, and I believe this, that if Burrow were healthy all year or Flacco was signed a few weeks early, they'd be leading this division. Not impressed with either of these teams. It's so funny, Dave. It's Steelers-Ravens in December. They're both 6-6. Both fan bases want the coach gone. They hate Tomlin in Pittsburgh now. They hate Harbaugh in Baltimore now. They're both very similar. Outdated styles. One a long time ago, been coasting off of that. I think the Ravens are better. They have the better quarterback. They have the better personnel. But that's a really big number in a rivalry game, a game the Steelers need. Ravens win, but that number is too big. Give me the Steelers.
Wow. So those of you that have followed all year, there are 7 of us here at WMBS that have been picking games. We're all under 500. We're using the spread, which we're not good enough to use the spread. I think we've figured out. The standings fluctuate, so we'll see who's the least under 500 when the season ends. Actually, almost all of us have over 100 losses this year, and every single person in the pool has picked the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. And I would venture to say, based on some of the comments that are made around the station, it's because of the spread, like Nick said. I don't think anybody's sold on the fact the Steelers are going to win, but you look at a Baltimore team potentially without their best player, Lamar Jackson, a suspect defense. 6.5, it's like 80 in college football. Like it's a huge number.
Well.
And I just can't. I'm going to sit and root for Baltimore. Everybody knows that. I think Baltimore's going to win this game, potentially by more than that. But with the uncertainty on Jackson, I can't in my right mind take the Ravens.
No.
I'm taking the Steelers with everybody else, but not because I'm rooting for them or think they're good or think they're even going to win this game. It's just the number's too big.
Yeah. And with Lamar, they couldn't do anything against the worst defense maybe in league history. So this is the mediocrity bowl, and it's a shame one of these teams have to make the playoffs.
It's the mediocrity division.
Yes. Well, Cleveland's been bad for 100 years, and well, not 100, and Cincinnati, is awful without Burrow. But yeah, one of these teams is going to make the playoffs, and I don't think either of them will win a game.
Now, good luck against the Chargers or Buffalo or whoever you're going to have to play as the bottom division winner that gets in. So there you have it. I'm sure we'll talk more Steelers in the second hour. There's so much more that can be discussed. We'll look at the rest of the picks for this week in the NFL. Penguins are in action tonight. We've got the championship games in college football this weekend. So a lot still to come. Don't go anywhere. The Sports Voice. We'll be right back.
Bring in 2026 with a New Year's Eve party to remember at the casino at Nemacolin. We've got the hottest slots and table games, mouth-watering food and drink specials, and live music from the incredible Metro Band. And don't miss our $26,000 midnight cash drawing. You could start the new year a winner. For all the details, visit CasinoNemacolin.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Lawmakers got classified briefings today from military officials and saw videos from a strike on a suspected Venezuelan drug boat back in September, and the second strike when there were known survivors. The takeaway was very different from Republican Tom Cotton and Democrat Jim Hines.
You have 2 individuals in clear distress without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who were killed by the United States.
I saw 2 survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs bound for the United States back over so they could stay in the fight.
Lawmakers say the admiral who directed the strike also testified there was no kill order from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The Pentagon watchdog publicly released its findings today into the Signalgate affair involving Hegseth. CBS's Charlie D'Agata has more.
The Inspector General's report that was months in the making found that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, quote, created a risk to operational security that could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots by sharing details of an attack against Houthi targets in Yemen over an unapproved, unsecure network.
Democratic leaders have introduced legislation that would allow for a 3-year extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act tax credits. Senator Chuck Schumer.
The Senate Republicans can avoid this now. The Senate can vote to pass our legislation. Plain and simple, and save American thousands. Republicans caused this problem. They knew this cliff was coming.
The Trump administration said today it will reduce the period of time that work permits are valid for refugees and other immigrants. It's the latest move to tighten immigration procedures. Chris Miller reports from New Orleans on the immigration crackdown surge there.
Demonstrators demanded the New Orleans City Council take action to ban immigration authorities from municipal property. The council had to recess while police cleared the chamber. Meanwhile, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell addressed the increased federal presence.
What I know is that as of today, that the city of New Orleans, again, stands in solidarity with every resident within our community and making sure that they know their rights.
Chris Miller for CBS News, New Orleans.
The average rate on a 30-year mortgage fell to 6.19% this week. That's near its low for the year. Stocks finished mixed. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. FACT, your community, your connection.
It's a new day at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital, and we're bringing a new level of quality healthcare to our community. From primary care to specialty services, our team has always put patients first. And now, thanks to our merger with WVU Medicine, our commitment to patient-centered care has grown even stronger. With new resources, a growing staff, and advanced technology, our team is here to provide you with top-quality care when it matters most. Discover the new Uniontown Hospital and see how we've grown.
It's time to check your pronunciations. Here's CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
The most mispronounced words of 2025.
Mounjaro helps your body regulate blood sugar.
Experts at Babbel say the popular weight loss drug is one. Another, the famous Paris Museum, targeted by a bunch of thieves in October.
The Louvre that you can see behind me is something of a fortress.
Those furry little monster dolls are tongue twisters. Lily Allen's lyric is on the list. Repeat after me, non-monogamami. The Hollywood actor is Denzel Washington. New York City's incoming mayor, Zohran Mamdani. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
President Trump has hired a new architect to help design the White House ballroom. The current architect, with whom the president has had some disagreements, will remain on the team. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
5:05, good afternoon. 29 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios on a Thursday. Davis & Davis attorneys at law voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025. Your local station, WMBS. Good evening, I'm Nick Barczyk. The Weather Watch and sports on the way. First-time filings for unemployment are increasing around Pennsylvania. That's according to the U.S. Labor Department, which says for the week ending November 29th, there are more than 15,000 first-time filings in the state. The number is up by more than 2,000 from last week. Nationally, the number of initial filings dropped for the week. The Salvation Army is making a big push for its 2025 Red Kettle campaign with a multi-million-dollar goal. They're trying to raise enough money to provide essential services to families facing economic hardships during the Christmas and holiday season. So far, they've raised over $652,000 around 28 western Pennsylvania counties. That is nearly 30% of their $2.3 million goal, which the organization hopes to raise by Christmas Eve. The Salvation Army is also looking for They're also looking for bell ringers in the region, the Salvation Army. Every dollar donated to the Red Kettle stays in the community where it was collected. Donations can also be made online at salvationarmywpa.org or by texting KETTLE, KETTLE, to 31333. A long-time snack food manufacturing plant in western Pennsylvania will be closing. According to a warn notice from the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, the Snyder of Berlin chip plant in Berlin, Somerset County, is expected to fully close operations by the end of next year. Officials said that the majority of the 96 employees will be laid off by February 13th, but according to the state, the company will retain 6 workers to assist in the final shutdown and cleanup of the facility. Sports and weather next on WMBS.
Hey everyone, this is Josh Krysak here letting you know that it's not too late to purchase a shed, carport, or building due to the cold weather that's upon us. Ron from Ultimate Structures will explain.
Here at Ultimate Structures, we go full-time, year-round to service our customers. Don't let the cold weather discourage you from purchasing the storage building for your needs. Our manufacturers and installation crews keep chugging through the cold weather. There may be minor delays due to snow and ice, but you can be assured every attempt will be made to get your building up and ready to protect your valuables.
That is great news to hear, Ron. Our listeners can still purchase a shed, carport, garage, or building to fit their needs.
Customers can call me anytime to discuss their needs at 724-557-3281. That's 724-557-3281. We can sit down and design what you desire. Come out to our mega lot to view models to fulfill your dreams. We are Ultimate Structures, satisfying Fayette County customers since 2007.
In sports, the shot clock is officially coming to Pennsylvania high school basketball. The PIAA board this week voted to officially adopt the shot clock for boys and girls basketball, starting with the 2028-29 season, giving schools a 3-year window to buy the equipment and train clock operators. The board passed the proposal on a third and final reading. The rule change, which adds the clocks for varsity and junior varsity games, first passed the board in July. Adding the clocks was a controversial topic for years, but a PIAA survey last spring showed growing support among schools and game officials. Also in sports, the Steelers have named Alex Highsmith as their 2025 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award winner, and he will go on to be nominated for the overall award at the NFL Honors before the Super Bowl in February. Steelers getting ready for the Ravens Sunday at 1 o'clock on WMBS, and they're both at 6-6. Big game in the AFC North tonight. Penguins, Flyers, and Philadelphia will join that after high school basketball. CR Parado Group High School Sports Night. Sprouse Insurance Group pregame is on the air at just about it will be on at 6:40 with the game at 7:30, as it will be Thomas Jefferson hosting Uniontown, the Jags hosting the Red Raiders in a makeup of a game that was postponed Tuesday. That's this evening on WMBS. NFL Week 14 begins tonight. Cowboys, Lions in Detroit, big game in the NFC.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
This weather report being brought to you by Montgomery Medical. Trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care, newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. And now the weather.
And right now we're looking at the temperature, which is at 27 degrees under cloudy skies. Overnight low tonight, 24, 34 Friday, clouds and sun Saturday, 37. Chance of a snow rain mix Sunday at 37, low 24. Monday, sunny, 29, low at 17 above. Monday night, Tuesday, 35, warming up to 44 Wednesday. Right now, fair and 28 degrees at 5:10 on a Thursday. Good afternoon from the Davis & Davis studios in Uniontown at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. Stock report, and then it is the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway. Again, high school basketball at 6:40 tonight on WMBS.
This weather report was brought to you by Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Same-day appointments available for acute care. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montibed.com to schedule your appointment.
Good evening. This is Angie Danko of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 408.4 points, closing at 47,883. The Nasdaq Composite was up 40.4 points, closing at 23,454. And the S&P 500 Index was up 20.6 points, closing at 6,850. Among companies of local interest, Apple closed at $284.15, down $2.04. Amazon, $232.38, down $2.04. Cisco, $77.75, up 88 cents. Boeing closed at $202.49, down $2.89. Caterpillar, $591.61, up $9.14. Disney, $105.73, up 90 cents. ExxonMobil, $117.82, up $2.44. First Energy closed at $45.23, down 43 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $205.39, down 3 cents. Home Depot, $358.10, up $4.07. Intel, $43.76, up 29 cents. McDonald's, $307.82, up $7.10. Meta Platforms closed at $639.60, down $7.50. PNC Financial Services, $198.05, up $6. Raytheon Technologies, $168.45, down 35 cents. Rockwell Automation, $400.67, up $9.47. Tesla, $446.74, up $17.50. Verizon, $40.70, up 9 cents. And Walmart closed at $114.45, up $2.04. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 408.4 points, closing at 47,883. The Nasdaq Composite was up 40.4 points, closing at 23,454. And the S&P 500 Index was up 20.6 points, closing at 6,850. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs. So this is Angie.
Join WMBS this Saturday from 10 to 12 noon as we broadcast live from the parking lot at Neubauer's Market House. Enjoy coffee and donuts as we come together to make Christmas brighter for others with your donations of new toys for Toys for Tots, toys, diapers, or monetary gifts for Hope's House, and pet supplies for Fayette Friends of Animals. WMBS and the prize wheel will be there. You be there too. That's this Saturday, December 6th from 10 to noon at Neubauer's Market House, 36 East Church Street, Uniontown.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
Oak Pizza in downtown Uniontown is your one-stop shop for the most unique pizzas in the region. From the masterminds behind the Fat Angelo's franchise, Oak Pizza is the laboratory where the Fat Angelo's food scientists test their creations and let you be the judge. With traditional favorites like pepperoni and buffalo chicken pizzas to more experimental offerings like the sesame seed-infused Mad Pie or the spicy chicken pickle pizza, Oak has you covered. Order today at oakpizzas.com or by calling 724-439-5805. Your taste buds will thank you. The UPMC Rehabilitation Institute on Wayland Smith Drive offers cutting-edge physical therapy. Jim Burns and his staff are residents of the community, treating sports injuries, neurological conditions, back pain, sprains and strains, joint replacements, hand injuries, and other conditions. They treat you efficiently and safely by taking all necessary precautions while disinfecting the clinic regularly. All insurance accepted. Experienced therapists. Convenient location and hours. Part of the community. Call the office with a prescription from your doctor or schedule by direct access 724-437-7500.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991 for the fine art of dentistry.
A Best in Fayette winner for tires and automotive service, Tireman's Auto Garage has the cheapest prices in town on new and used tires. They are also top automotive specialists for any car, any repair, offering diagnostic service, alignments, oil changes, state inspections, batteries, brakes and rotors, and more. The holidays are coming. That means cold weather and snow. Be ready. Be safe with new tires from Tireman's Auto Garage, where you'll find the lowest prices in town. Plus, ACIMA and Snap leasing available. If you've been past Tireman's recently, you've seen golf carts on the roof. Tireman's has a variety of 2, 4, and 6-seater golf carts, gas or electric, available for purchase with financing available. Interested in renting a golf cart? Call 724-425-9606 and ask about rentals. Or stop in and see Kim or Joe at Tireman's Auto Garage on Mill Street in Uniontown. Happy holidays from Kim and Joe at Tireman's Auto Garage, a best in Fayette place for tires and auto service.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Voice. Ahead on this hour, honestly, I don't know. I could go on. I told Nick I could probably go on for 4 hours about the Pittsburgh Steelers and where they are right now. I just spent probably a good 10 minutes talking to Bill Madden out in the lobby, just going off still on the Steelers and their philosophy. I mean, it's such an easy target that I baffled when I turn the TV on and see all these people down there waving their towels, hoping. It's all it is anymore. It's just hope that miraculously this miracle is going to come down and everything's going to get better and change. And it just isn't. Like, this is mediocrity at its finest. And I'm telling you, you've got about 2 more years of that. And if there's no change made, they're going to be a bottom feeder in the NFL. You have to develop somebody every once in a while to continue to push something. And there's nobody. There's no young talent on this team. When you start reeling off guys, it's old people that won't be there probably in a couple years or will be wheelchaired and walkered up by then. There's no way that even 9-8, 8-9, 7-10, whatever you're going to consider yourself mediocre, there's no way that's going to be sustained within the next couple of years. This has been a downward spiral that started in 2007 and has got considerably worse each year. There were breaths of fresh air and hopes, and once Roethlisberger, who was kind of the last of that old guard, once he left, there's been nothing to get excited about from that point. And even toward the tail end of his career, there really wasn't a whole lot there to be excited about. So yeah, I spent the whole first hour going through the struggles of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm sure the frustrations of pretty much anyone who considers themselves a fan of this team. But in the end, if you're looking for some sort of hope that it's going to get better, the only option out there is the clown has to fire his boss, head coach Mike Tomlin. So until that happens, you're just not going to see really anything that's going to look any better than what you're looking at right now. Maybe that'll wrap it up, at least for a little bit. I feel like there's some other things we need to talk about as well. I should talk Penguins right off the bat. So I'll give you just a little blurb on where they are at this point. The Penguins are 13-7-5. They have 31 points. That's good for 5th place in the Metro, which means it's not good enough. And you start looking at overtime. They've got 5 losses between overtime and shootout, which really puts them at 13-12. That's mediocre. That's middle of the pack. And, I sort of alluded to this. I like the Penguins a lot. I like some of what they've done. Ben Kindle, I think, has been a breath of fresh air. They had the kid line out there as the third line the other night against Philly. They had Kindle, they had Koivunen, they had McGroarty, who's back up with the team coming off of his injury. And I like that. I like everything about that. But I think you had a period of time where they struggled, and they struggled because they overestimated where they are and their chances for things. And that's where they have to be careful moving forward. They got some wins under their belt. They weren't expecting it. They were expecting to struggle. They were talking about Gavin McKenna potentially having a shot at him with the first overall pick next year, and they came out of the gate hot, a lot hotter than anybody thought. And then they turned into last year. And that, I think, is the biggest issue. When I talked about and complained up a storm last year, a bunch of guys out there, no chance of scoring, racking up minuses. That's what they did. They had guys get hurt, and instead of bringing up players like Avery Hayes and Atlee Calvert and actually giving a legitimate chance to Tristan Brose, they bring up Heinen, they bring up Koponen, they bring up all these guys that have been around, have had no success anywhere, and they put them out there because they're veterans, and they dress them because they're veterans, and they contribute nothing, but yet the next game they're out there again. Matt Dumba started playing every day. I mean, this is just stuff that shouldn't have happened. They were not winning when these guys were out. They were winning games when these guys were out there. As soon as they came out, they started to lose. They should have figured out right away, these curtain jerkers can't be out there. We need to bring in legit talented people. We've got good young players. Get them up, get them a chance until everybody heals up. I mean, you're losing anyways with these guys that you had in there. At some point, you have to realize that this is a changing of the guard, and you need to just let it happen. When Raquel comes back, who goes down? You're going to sacrifice the young players for the old players every single time. And in this situation, 5th place in the Metro, it just shouldn't happen. Morozov should be up there playing goaltender. Jari looked good against Philly, but he's up and down. He's looked better this year, I guess, than he has in the last couple, but now he's the clear-cut starter. Shilovs is, coming in every once in a while. That was supposed to be, sort of a 1-and-1 as far as how that was going to go. I mean, they've gone away from everything they were doing at the beginning of the year when they were showing success, and to me, that's going to be their undoing, and you're going to see a team sort of where they were last year with no hope of doing anything, just high enough to not get a good enough pick to make a difference. I mean, that's what I fear right now for the Penguins. Figure it out. You're not going to... I know what you want to do for Crosby. Could be the last year the three of them are together. You want to go to the playoffs. You want to make a run, but it's similar to what we were talking about with the Steelers. You can hope all you want. It's not going to change the reality. This just isn't a team that's going to go deep in the playoffs. This is a team that might miss the playoffs. Get ready for what comes next. Don't continue to live in the past. And I think right now that's where kind of the Penguins are. I'd love to see them come out and beat Tampa. Don't think it's going to happen, but it would be certainly nice if it was. I'd like starting to give Koivunen a chance. He's struggling. He can't score in the NHL for whatever reason, but he will. Just give him the opportunity to do that. Surround him with good young talent like Kindle and McGroarty. I like that. And Novak's over there on Malkin's line. He had a goal. I know. But you got Kevin Hayes up there with Crosby. Put someone a little more physical. If you want a big guy, put Mantha up there. I would retool maybe a little bit. Dumba should never play. There's not enough contribution from him to put him in there. I know Clifton makes mistakes, but at least he's gritty and physical and doesn't whine and cry all the time. Take a look at what's there, figure some things out, and don't be afraid to make moves. If there's someone, I think they messed up royally with Raquel last year. They could have moved him at the trade deadline and brought in a pretty nice package from what we hear from LA. They chose not to. They bring him around this year. He gets hurt right away. You've lost so much trade capital with the decisions that have been made, and I'll never forget that one. That's one you knew that guy would never have as much success as what he was having last year, and yet you kept him around because you want to have guys out there for Crosby. Crosby can score with literally anyone on his line. That should not be a concern, that you have to keep these old guys around so that he can be productive. You could put him with two young kids and he'd still have 18, 19 goals, whatever he has at this point. He's just that good. If you have an opportunity to make the team better, you have to take it. You can't keep guys around just because you're trying to placate other players on the team. It's not going to take you where you need to go. You don't have the roster you had 10 years ago. You need to get it back to where it is. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting younger and getting faster. I preached it for 5 years before they finally did it in 15, and they ended up getting 2 cups out of it. They need to do it again. They do not have a team that can compete with the younger, faster, better teams in today's NHL. They need to get to that point. I think they have better young players in the system than I originally thought. So get them up, see what they can do, figure it out, and then decide. You've got all these draft picks to either use as bait to get restricted free agents or to actually go ahead and draft. I'll give Dubas credit. Kindle's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Brunick, I think was learning. He'll be back. I think he'll be fine. Pickering will be these guys will be back, and they'll be better than you think they're going to be. But we need to at least put a little bit of a rush order on that. It can't just be business as usual, or you're going to have the season end this year the same way it ended last year, with not a whole lot to look forward to going into the next season. So, in the end, Penguins at Lightning tonight. It's actually a hockey night in Tampa, but the Penguins won 3 of their last 4. That's definitely good news coming into this. Hopefully, it can be 4 out of their last 5. Jari in net tonight for the Pens. You've been watching any of this thing?
Absolutely. Listening to a lot of it here at the station. And yeah, it's so early in the season, but it's December, not that early anymore. But yeah, I think they're, are you expecting big playoff success?
No.
Or, well, there you go.
Which is why I'm expecting something different to be done with this roster.
Yes, exactly. If you're not going to do that, and they're not going to tank either, I don't think they're that bad. They're kind of in that mushy middle we've worried the Steelers are in for years. So, yeah, they should adjust to the roster, get younger, and they're still learning a new system. Dan Hughes is a new coach, and it's going to be a work in progress, but they're in a weird spot with the old veterans and then the young guys all mixed in. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yes. We'll keep you updated as the season goes on. Still no official word of this Edmonton interest in Jari. I think it's way too early in the season for them to pull the trigger on that anyways. But we'll keep you posted if we hear anything new on the Penguins next week. I believe next week is the Major League Baseball winter meetings. Am I correct with that?
I think so. And the Pirates are very close to signing a lot of people.
Should be a ton of news with guys the Pirates almost signed when we're on next Thursday. Well, they got pretty much everyone they needed to get protected in the Rule 5 draft. Yeah. So they shouldn't have to worry about losing anyone there. The big news this week was Cody Ponce, who was pretty much forgettable in his role in the Pirate bullpen 5 years ago. He was signed to a pretty lucrative deal this week. He was the Korean baseball organization's MVP. I'd have never thought MVP and Cody Ponce would go together. But now, obviously, another guy the Pirates missed on. And maybe they did. Maybe there was something they could have fixed in his delivery back when he was a Pirate, but he was with other teams too that didn't fix it. But there's yet another success story of leaving Pittsburgh. Can't wait to just go through all the success stories Paul Skeens is going to have when he finally gets out of Pittsburgh.
We got some money, right? That was in the last week since we've been on.
Yeah, that came from Major League Baseball. That $3.4 million. So that's pre-arbitration. MLB, I guess, trying to take all this revenue that they get and trying to give some to the players early because of the system and the protection and guys that are stuck with a team like Pittsburgh. I mean, we saw that with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole thought he was going to get a little bit of a raise from the Pirates, and he didn't get it, and that's what started him demanding to be moved from Pittsburgh, maybe trying to make it a little easier for a guy like Paul Skeens. But he's going to get big money when arbitration finally comes, and I doubt the Pirates are going to want to pay that. So we'll see. But they talk a good game. Now that it's a few years away, they're trying to make it look like they're committed to signing him. If they were committed to signing him, they would have already done it, because he's never going to be cheaper to sign than he is right now. If you're not pulling the trigger now, like so many other teams do early, then you're not pulling the trigger at all. They will let him ride through arbitration and then probably trade him for at least 5 or 6 quad A players that are in their mid-20s that'll never make it in Major League Baseball. And then they'll talk about Seth Hernandez and Connor Griffin and Bubba Chandler and whoever else will be the new flavor of the month that's going to be the future of that franchise.
Skeens reminds me of Tim Robbins and Shawshank. He's just plotting his exit. He's plotting his escape, and it can't come fast enough for him. And this organization, we're going to look back and say, wow, what could have been. And we've had talent on this team that they've wasted, but nothing like this. Again, and it should be on a billboard down there. They've had him, the best pitcher in the world, for almost 2 years now, and they've gotten worse. You almost have to work at that. It's hard to be that bad. So
yes, but we keep hearing $30 extra million is going to be spent this year. Can't wait to see how well spent that money is going to be.
Upgrades to PNC Park, different food options, more dog nights.
No, payroll.
Baseball
supposed
players.
to be on payroll. Yeah,
players. Wow, good players.
I don't
Doubtful.
know. What are you going to get for $30 million?
I don't know.
I'm sure guys are going to get raises, and he'll probably count that in as part of the $30 million. So
the Pirates should. Did I say this last week? They should have a wall next to the Wall of Fame of all the old guys they almost got. Naylor and back in the day Price, and I'm sure maybe they'll come out and say they were close to getting Kyle Tucker.
Ohtani.
Yeah, Tucker. Guys they should have drafted. Ian Happ. Like the list is great.
Right. Yeah. But they're so close. So you almost got Josh Naylor.
Yeah.
Remember what I said 2 weeks ago? If they thought for a second Josh Naylor was going to take $80 million, they would have never offered it. There was no intention to ever sign him. There's no intention to sign Paul Skeens. There's no intention to sign anyone long term. If you draft someone and they turn out to be good, you'll keep them for the time you have them protected, and then they go away too. There's no intention to spend money because it cuts into the profit. And for this guy, that's all that matters. He's not a baseball fan. He doesn't care about your team. He doesn't care that you're fans. He doesn't care that he owns the team closest to your house. He doesn't care about any of that. He cares about the bottom line and making money. And he's going to make more money by getting rid of Paul Skeens than he is by keeping him. Because if he keeps him, he has to pay him who knows how much, and probably win a few more games than what he's winning right now. If he lets him go, he wins what he wins now. Same people that are going now are going to go then regardless, and Major League Baseball is going to continue handing him money. The only thing that can potentially change that is a salary cap, because that gets rid of revenue sharing, which means you have to work to make money, which he probably won't want to do, which means he might sell the team. But as long as he's guaranteed that huge sum from MLB every year, he's keeping his team forever. And his family will keep it beyond him, because it's just too easy to make money in Major League Baseball.
Oh, Dave, root for the home team. They are closest to the house. But yeah, the Dodgers are winning all these World Series without Skeens. Can you imagine when they get him, how good they'll be?
I know. And that has to be the reason why people root for the Steelers, because that's got to be the most unlikable team I've ever seen in my life that comes out of that tunnel at Acrisure.
There's a lot of respect for that logo, yeah.
I think that's what it is. You just root for the logo. You can't possibly be rooting for those players.
Well, that's most sports fans. Well, they have some decent guys on the team. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a few. Darnell Washington seems like a nice guy. They don't get into bar fights and stuff. I'll say that about him. Like some other athletes I've heard of.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch over to college football. I feel like there's a lot to talk about here. And I'm going to start with this Penn State debacle. And that's exactly
Notre
what
Dame.
it is.
I want to hear your take on that.
I'll get to that later. I got to do Penn State first, because this is just an absolute disaster. And, we've talked off air, and I believe you're right in the situation, but if you're going to make this decision, you have to know. The Penn State, whether it was Penn State or whether it was Adidas or whoever it was, they make the decision midway through the season that they're going to fire James Franklin. All right, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. They were going nowhere with him. It was disappointment after disappointment. They're better than mediocre with him, but you knew if it was a big game, you were losing. And to win a championship, you've got to win a big game. So you knew it was never happening. So I understand the frustration. I get it. But if you're going to move on from him, then you better have the replacement signed, sealed, and delivered. And they didn't have it. And maybe it was Cignetti, and they were convinced they could get him. And then all of a sudden they couldn't, because actually I think there are more resources in Indiana right now than what's at Penn State. So you start sort of just bumbling around for a few months. You've got Terry Smith in there. You've got the fan base kind of happy because they look like they turn it around. And then you tell Terry Smith, we're not interested. We're not going to bring you in because we don't think you're going to be able to recruit top caliber players. And honestly, you can't go from James Franklin to Terry Smith. If you're going to say, hey, Franklin was good, but we need someone great, you can't make that move. But you also didn't go and get anybody else. There's nobody great that's come in there. So you get to a point where it's National Signing Day and you don't have a coach. So you get your commits pillaged by James Franklin and Virginia Tech. You've got next to nothing there, and the transfer portal hasn't opened yet. Just wait for that mass exodus that's going to take place with guys that are currently on this roster. Why would you stay? You don't know who the coach is. You don't know what the system is. You don't know if it's going to fit your skill set. If I'm a player and I've got offers elsewhere and I know what my role is going to be, I'm leaving too. This is an absolute debacle that's going on in Happy Valley right now, and that's that's on the leadership of Penn State for not having a more solid plan. They deserve whatever they're going to get here. And quite frankly, with the recruits that they've lost and the people who are going to transfer, they might be the worst team in the Big Ten next year. And they 100% deserve it. And they still don't know who the coach is. They're talking about Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. He just came out about 45 minutes ago and said he has no interest in Penn State. There was a lot of talk about Brian Dable, who got fired from the Giants. Honestly, I think it's better for him to go and take an offensive coordinator job in the NFL and try to get another NFL job, because the cupboard is about as bare as it could be anywhere right now at Penn State. Brian Hartline went to USF. That's South Florida, if you don't know what that means. This was a guy that was talked about, but yet didn't go. The coach from BYU decides to stay at BYU instead of coming to Penn State. Was that Sataki? I mean, everyone they've looked at has said no to Penn State. Nobody wants to go there. So is it the ego and the overestimation of what that job brings to the table, but you've let it erode so far that now you've got no recruits? Good luck getting any. I mean, who's going to come into that position and steal recruits from somewhere else? I mean, unless you go totally outside the box and bring in someone we don't know about. But if you were going to do that, you should have already done it. And don't tell me you're waiting for the playoffs to be done, because all that's telling me is you think for a second you're going to get this guy from James Madison who's going to be another disaster. Like, this should have been done already, and it isn't, and that should tell you all you need to know about this situation. This is a dumpster fire. This is what it's become.
Well, I heard they also pursued Lane Kiffin, and a lot of Penn State fans were at the airport flipping him off like the Ole Miss fans were. Wasn't that a great story?
Yeah, they followed him to the airport.
Yeah. No, I'm sure Penn State did not pursue Kiffin. Kiffin leaving Ole Miss, will not coach in the playoff. What a great story
well, LSU is the more lucrative job of the two anyways.
How far has Penn State fallen where the Indiana and BYU coaches are saying, no, we're staying here? Signetti's staying in Bloomington. Sataki, which I thought was a restaurant item, is staying at BYU. Wow. I don't know what you'll get. Hartline's off the board. DeBoer's not coming.
Manny Diaz is playing for the ACC championship this week with Duke, so there's a lot of talk about him coming back. I'd stay at Duke if I were him. I mean, I'd rather go, against a weakened ACC than try to steer that sinking ship up in Penn State. I never thought it would be to this point. And Ben Roethlisberger needs to stop suggesting Mike Tomlin for that job, because the last thing I want to see is him up there.
Can the Steelers trade him to Penn State? Is that legal?
No.
Can the NFL and college work
No,
like that?
Stop talking college with him, because that's where he'll end up if he goes to college.
Well, remember, he was linked to some college jobs and he got really angry. He said,
Texas.
They don't say that about Andy Reid. Whatever.
Yeah, Andy Reid's out there winning Super Bowls. That's probably why they're not saying it about him.
Well, he got lucky with Mahomes, but he's a great coach. I don't know what Penn State's doing. I thought they'd have a coach by now, and they really wanted Signetti, but he said no. So we got to move on. Find someone.
You got to find somebody. I mean, that's the thing. There's no one there. They've just gone through the most important time in college football, and I don't like that all this is done in season. I don't like that the transfer portal opens up before the playoff. But if they're concerned with these playoffs, what team that has a coach in the playoffs right now is not going to do everything they can to keep them? Yeah. I mean, that's the holy grail. And I just can't imagine. Maybe James Madison, maybe you get somebody like that. But for the most part, I just can't imagine a guy leaving a team that has success right now to come to Penn State, which is an utter disaster at this point. So that's where we are with that. We've got some pretty interesting games going on this weekend. These are the championship games for the major conferences. We've got the Sun Belt and the American happening on Friday. James Madison, 25th in the country, 11-1, taking on Troy. No. And then Tulane and North Texas. There's two other schools who have coaches rumored to be going to Penn State. So that'll be happening. But we get to Saturday. We've got BYU and Texas Tech. That's the Big 12. Georgia, Alabama. There's a real good chance if Alabama loses, they're not in this playoff.
No.
They're for the SEC. The game of the week, Indiana and Ohio State.
Wow.
For the Big Ten championship. I'm so glad they're not like on sides anymore where this half plays this half.
No.
And then the coup de grace, Duke and Virginia for the ACC championship.
That'd be a really good basketball game. But
are we sure? So this is it? These are all.
That's it.
When's Notre Dame's conference championship?
I don't know.
Why do I not see them on? Because they're kind of like a shoe-in for this playoff.
All I've heard this week is Notre Dame and Miami talk, and neither of them are playing Saturday. And I think the only person more mad Notre Dame's ranked ahead of Miami than Cristobal, the coach, is you, Dave. So go ahead.
No, it's not that. It's just you look at the body of work. They haven't played anybody. That's the thing. If you don't want to join a conference and you're going to play Stanford and Boston College and Navy down the stretch, you get Syracuse. How can you expect to just have something handed to you? They've played a couple of good games this year and they lost them.
Yeah.
They lost to Texas Tech, and oh, by the way, I can see why Cristobal's so angry. They lost to Miami.
But Dave,
those were their first 2 games.
That's a good win, isn't it?
Well, Pitt's currently not ranked. The only ranked team right now that they've beaten is USC.
Yep.
There's no body of work that justifies them going into this playoff. I think if you want to send a message, leave them out and force them to join a conference just like everybody else, or to schedule better teams. But I see Miami's issue, because if that's the team that's going to take Miami's place, Miami beat them. I can see why they're angry of the fact that they might be left out. And imagine if they get in and Alabama's out, or, something like that happens in the end. It's not against Notre Dame. If Notre Dame would have played a schedule that looked like some of these other team schedules and they were where they are right now, yes, 100% they deserve to be there. But they haven't. They played a bunch of cupcakes, which most of these other schools are only able to do in the first couple weeks of the season. They don't deserve to be there because they haven't had a big win all year. When you look at quality wins, maybe you could throw USC in there. And honestly, if that's a maybe, it's the only one. That's my issue.
There's this amazing force field around Notre Dame. And this committee got in the room and said, look, is Miami more deserving? Probably, but it's Notre Dame. It's the logo. It's Newt. It's Rudy. It's the Gipper. It's all the fans and the people will watch. It's a TV show. Never forget that. I know nobody wants to hear it. It's not fair. Notre Dame's going to get in this thing unless they completely throw up on themselves. They're going to get in. If their resume is even half decent, they're going to get in this thing every year because it's Old Home Week. It's Notre Dame. It's the college team they make movies about, Dave. They're going to make this thing because it'll draw eyeballs. And it's a TV show at the end of the day.
Which, once again, is just another piece to emphasize how screwed up the NCAA is. You've got an NIL program that's like the Wild Wild West. You have no continuity. You could have a player be on a different team every year of their 4 years of eligibility. Wow. And that's just a disaster.
Look at the Lane Kiffin thing. That bothers me more than the transfer portal.
And these guys are making more to play in college than they're making their first couple years in the NFL.
Sure.
If Arch Manning went into the draft, he would take a pay cut even if he was the first pick in the NFL draft. So you allow that to happen, and that is the fault of the NCAA. They could have paid these guys a stipend 5-6 years ago and didn't want to.
No.
They wanted the schools to do it. Meanwhile, the NCAA made all the money off the name, image, and likeness.
Wow.
They refused to do it, and now they have this. So they deserve what's going on there. The coaching carousel the same way. These contracts mean nothing. They're meaningless. You could have a situation where Kiffin goes right before. Ole Miss is a favorite to be national champion, and now they're going to have no coaching staff whatsoever. I guess one of the assistants is going to be allowed to do it.
Weiss.
Weiss. But outside of that, you take everything away from these teams. Then you have the transfer portal. Look what happened to Penn State with Prabula last year. That comes right before the bowl season starts, right before this playoff, and you're getting guys plucked off of these playoff teams to sit at home and watch because now they're committed to another team that's going to give them more money next year. You can't even, hard enough to go out and get these guys that are recruits. You can't even keep your own players anymore because of how easy it is to go through this transfer portal. And then you have conferences that are stacked and conferences that aren't. You create a playoff system around a conference that's not even there anymore, the Pac-12, because it was pillaged by the other conferences of all of its teams. You need to have 4 conferences, North, South, East, and West. If your team is in that area, that's your conference. And you have to join a conference. You can't be independent. You want to start to fix things, that's the first way to fix it. You'll get better competition. You'll get more of like Georgia, Alabama, and Indiana, Ohio State, and less of Duke and Virginia and BYU and Texas Tech.
This is just a joke. The way this is all set up, and you're right, it's a TV show.
Yep.
Notre Dame will do better than well, I don't know about Alabama, but they'll do better than some of these other teams that are going to be on the outside looking in, like Miami.
Right.
And they'll get the nod because of the past reputation. They don't even have their own TV station anymore. They used to. That used to be their threatening piece.
Well, NBC for the home games, yeah.
Yeah, but not for the road. They have their.
Well, they never did. Yeah.
Right. But still, I mean, that's what you're looking at. It's a very much flawed system that the NCAA uses, and basketball is starting to get just as bad with the way they're running that tournament anymore.
Yeah. And it's still a great sport. It's fun. It's exciting. It's great to watch those games, and the stadiums are filled, and I get all that. But there's a lot of issues with the system, and it's not amateur sports anymore. They don't care that it is. And, it's really an extension of the NFL anymore because a lot of the offenses look like NFL offenses, and that's fine. And, there's still a lot of great teams and great players and storylines. I can't wait to see Mendoza for Indiana Saturday against Ohio State, those great Buckeye receivers saying. So there are fun storylines, but there are a lot of flaws, and you laid them out very well.
Remember I said this. People were telling me all week the team that wins the Indiana-Ohio State game will be the national champion. I disagree. The loser of that game will be the national champion.
Couldn't agree more.
Indiana's going to win Saturday.
I get exactly what you're saying.
Yes,
Yep.
Indiana's going to win Saturday, but Ohio State is going to be the national champion.
I agree.
When it's all said and done. But
Yep.
great. So Sayan's a great story.
It's a great
Mendoza's
game.
a great story. That's a top-notch.
Those are phenomenal receivers Ohio State have. World-class NFL
Absolutely.
guys. Yeah.
And they all will be as
Yep.
well in the NFL. And Georgia, I'm impressed with Georgia. They've surprised me. I didn't think they'd be that good with Stockton. I thought it would be a drop-off. And same thing with Ty Simpson in Alabama. But I think it's a shame that if Alabama loses this game, there's a good chance they won't be in to a team that's played next to nobody most of the season. But whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And if BYU beats Texas Tech, does Texas Tech still get in?
That's a great storyline, but I you know what I really care about? There's still a chance Pitt and Penn State could play each other in a bowl. I can't wait.
I
for
hope
that
it's in
one.
New York City.
Yeah, the pinstripe at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
You'll be up for that.
Oh, I hope it's that, or I hope it's the one close to Easter.
You'll be in the front row. Yeah, the Easter Bowl.
Yeah, one of
Easter
those.
basketball.
Yeah, the one that. All those years I said it's better to play a bowl closer to New Year's than it is to Christmas, and then Pitt proved me wrong. They played some January 2nd nobody type bowl with like 15,000 letters in it.
Yeah.
But so in the end, that's where we are. Penn State's still no coach, and we've got the championship games happening this week, and should be the bowl invites and everything that come after that. So we'll figure out this college football playoff. At least we crown a winner now instead of just random bowls that pick and choose who might be the national champion at the end of the year. But I will watch Indiana-Ohio State. I'm very excited about that game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yes. All right, let's take our final break of the show. When we come back, we will start to take a look at the National Football League this week. How about it? Week 14. It seems like we were just doing week 1, but we will Nick and I will pick on the air. The others will be posted tomorrow on Facebook. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For professional cleaning services, Clean and Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For free estimates, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Hey, you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Well, look no more, because with over 200 vehicles, Gary's Auto Sales is the largest used car dealer in the area. Whether you want a car, a truck, or an SUV, you'll absolutely find what you're looking for at Gary's. Gary's has been in business since 1974. You can visit them online at Gary'sAutoSales.com, or you can give them a call at 724-626-8080. Gary's Auto Sales. Many miles, many smiles.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. It's amazing how fast time flies here. And we're into December. There's only a couple more shows left for this year, Nick.
Can you believe it?
It's just crazy how long. Pretty soon it'll be the anniversary show again for the Sports Voice at the beginning of February. Wow. And the Super Bowl comes right after that. It seems like this season, it seems like we were just talking about St. Vincent's and July and Rodgers and whether or not they were going to actually sign him. And now here we are almost at the end. Crazy. Sunday is the 7th of December, a day that will live in infamy. Again, probably. Who knows what's going to happen there. But anyway, so we are making our picks of the week. For those of you that have been following us all season, you know there are 7 WMBS personalities who have been picking. We're picking with the spread. It's been extremely difficult. 6 of us have 100 losses already or more, but it's very tight. So Josh Kreisig had a huge lead early on. It's tightened up. Continue to follow that on Facebook. There's a lot to see. They do a great job putting the records and everything in for the season and every single pick that we make each week. Nick and I, unfortunately, we're forced to make these picks on TV.
Right.
Excuse me. See, I'm getting all choked up. I'm getting choked up because I know that I'm going to be embarrassed again for another week with being under 5. I think I've been under 500 for the last 6 or 7 weeks in a row. So that's certainly not helping my chances at doing anything successful here. The guys, I have all their picks, but we never have enough time to go through them all. So we pick on TV and embarrass ourselves.
Well,
although Nick's had a couple of good weeks lately.
That's why the shades are on. I'm on fire, Dave.
Yes. Yeah. If you can't see, which
here.
I know you can't see because he just keeps this camera on me and I don't know how to switch it onto him. If I did, it'd be on him the whole time. But yeah, Nick's sitting here with sunglasses on in the middle of nighttime to re-emphasize how on fire his picks have been. You're like what, 2 behind Josh or
It's
something?
bright in here. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I have the standings here. I got to look. Let me lift up my. I have to look at my picks so I know who I actually picked.
I'm catching up to the counselor, Esquire.
Nick is 3 back. Josh is 96 and 98. Nick is 93 and 101. We're not even
still
talk
under
about where the rest of
500,
us are.
but yeah.
Yes. Well, hey, I mean that might be the mean for this.
Yeah, the mean.
So as long as you stay above it, you're in good shape.
R2 would be happy with me if I'm above the mean.
He would. We do have some buys this week. The last week of buys, unfortunately, the New England Patriots, the best team in football, are on bye this week. That'll hurt my fantasy teams a little bit. Doesn't matter. I've got buys into the second round of the playoffs in both. So
you have Butte on your team.
Good to go. I don't. I have Drake May on both teams.
Oh, do you? Wow.
I have May on both teams. I have Patriots.
good.
I have Hunter Henry. Yeah, I got some Patriots. So, yeah, but there are some buys. So we will go through what we have. It is time for Nick and I to make our Week 14 picks. Starting with tonight. Should be an exciting one. You never know what you're going to get on Thursday Night Football. This one at least should be explosive. The over-under right now is 54.5. The Dallas Cowboys at Detroit playing the Lions. Detroit favored by 3.5.
So you're saying Thursday Night Football is like a box of chocolates? You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, Cowboys, they're better right now. Laporte is out. St. Brown's out. Give me the boys.
I'm going to take the Lions. Wow. I agree with you, but I have to do some different stuff to get back into whatever contention I could possibly get into. There's just something about the Lions have struggled. I'm not saying this is a trap. I think the Green Bay game is the trap game of the week. Dallas should win, but for some reason, I don't know why Detroit's even favored in this. I'm going to go with the Lions. All right. Sunday afternoon football. Of course, I can't believe they didn't move that Steeler game to 4:25.
Packers-Bears is the big one. So
that explains. That's why. Yeah. Also at primetime, 1 o'clock, we've got Nick's second favorite team, because it's not the team closest to his house. The Seattle Seahawks, favored by 7.5 in Atlanta against the Falcons.
Well, my second favorite team is whoever Sam Darnold's playing for. You could go to Canada football, and I'd root for them. Give me Seattle. I think they're really good.
I think they're really good too, but I'm going to take the Falcons. I don't know why. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins.
Corpse.
I think Drake London's going to be back for this. Bijan Robinson. Seattle's just been too good. I don't know if that's like saying it's because the Bengals and the Ravens are all hurt. But I'm taking the Falcons. I got a feeling about that one. Titans at Browns.
Ugh.
Cleveland favored by 4.5.
I think Myles Garrett gets like 25 sacks in this one. I don't know. Give me the Browns. Titans are awful. Shadur, baby.
I don't want Garrett to get the sack record because I want that to happen against Pittsburgh. Is that in Pittsburgh?
No, it's in Cleveland.
It'd have been more fun if it was in Pittsburgh. I'm taking Cleveland in this. Tennessee's bad.
Yeah.
Colts at Jags. Colts favored by 1.5.
AFC South title game. It's in Jacksonville. Give me the Jags. Not impressed with the Colts recently.
I haven't been either, but I'm going to take the Colts in this one.
Yeah.
It's still Jacksonville. Commanders at Vikings. Vikings favored by 2.5. J.J. McCarthy will play at quarterback if that matters. I mean, he's better than Brosmer.
Against Marcus Mariota. Not watching a second of this one. Give me Washington in a snooze fest. And it'll probably end up being a good game.
It might be. McLaurin looked healthy, so maybe his first time all year he's playing a second game in a row. He's on my fantasy team, too. Samuel, there's weapons there. Rodriguez has looked good. I'm taking the Vikings. I'm going to get Jefferson, Addison. It's hard not. I don't care. It's just hard not to pick those guys. I'm taking them. Probably another loss. I've taken them way too many times this year. Dolphins at Jets. Dolphins favored by 2.5 on the road.
Also awful. Give me Coach Glenn. He's better than Coach Tite. And Ty Taylor's better than Fields. So give me the Jets.
I'm going to take the Dolphins. I don't know why. I'm just going to take the Dolphins.
Whatever.
The IT tech.
They play the Steelers next week. That'll be a barn burner.
This might be the IT tech's audition for his job next year at Best Buy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. Saints at Bucks. Buccaneers favored by 8.5.
That's a big number. Give me the Saints.
I'm going to take Tampa. I've taken the Saints way too many times.
Yeah.
And they hang in there and then get blown out at the end. I'm taking Tampa. Bengals at Bills. Bills favored by 5.5.
This is a great game.
Two
Burrow
big wins
versus
last week.
Allen.
Bengals over Ravens, Bills over Steelers.
Absolutely. Burrow versus Allen. Give me the Bengals. Why not? 5.5.
I almost had the Bengals circled, and then at the last second took the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bengals defense is just so bad.
It is.
I'm taking Buffalo. Broncos at Raiders. Broncos favored by 7.5.
Yeah, give me the Broncos. Raiders are
I'm taking the
dumpster
Broncos.
fire.
Raiders are, yes. Bears at Packers, the big 425 game. Green Bay favored by 6.5.
Love this game. Like Green Bay, but right now I love the Bears. Give me the Bears at Lambeau.
This is the trap game of the week. Take Green Bay. I'm telling you, they shouldn't be favored, especially by 6.5.
Yeah.
Vegas knows something we don't know. I'm taking the Packers. Rams at Cardinals. Rams favored by 7.5.
Love the Rams. Stafford. Puka had the catch of the year maybe last week. Give me the Rams.
I'm taking the Cardinals. Brissett's
Wow.
look good.
Ugh.
Kyron Williams is hurt. Don't know
Yeah.
for sure what you're going to get out of him. I'm going with the Cards. Texans at Chiefs. Sunday Night Football. Kansas City favored by 3.5.
Dave, I don't think the Chiefs are making the playoffs. The Texans' defense is good. I think Houston might win this game. Give me Houston.
The only way the Chiefs make the playoffs, they have to win out, and they know it. I'm taking the Chiefs. I'm taking Mahomes.
Yeah.
Eagles at Chargers, Monday Night Football. Justin Herbert will play. Eagles favored by 3.5.
He will play, but the Eagles, I can't see him losing 3 in a row. 3.5 the number. Give me the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles in that one, too.
Yeah.
So we've got some the same, some different. This is why we've been on different trajectories. My arrow's not exactly pointing up, so hopefully I can turn something around. The rest of the picks will be able to be seen on Facebook tomorrow afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this week's edition of The Sports Voice. I will talk to you again next Thursday, 4:15 to 6.
Unwrap faster internet this holiday season with Armstrong. Give yourself the gift of whole home internet with enhanced Wi-Fi, powered by our advanced fiber network. Plus, with our self-installation kit, you can get up and running as soon as same day. Don't wait till the last minute. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com and treat yourself to a gift that lasts all year. Internet you can count on, the people you trust. That's Armstrong.
Little Blessings Daycare in Oliver urges you, give the gift of life this holiday season. The average shelf life of blood is only 42 days. There must be a steady flow of donations to meet the continuing needs of our community, so be an angel, give blood today. This from Little Blessings Daycare, located behind Hillside Manor on Memory Row Lane in Oliver. Caring for your children is their passion. Stop by or call 724-430-1444. Happy holidays.